All right, where we're breaking down the absolute best alternatives to Appy Pie for businesses looking to build a mobile app in 2026. Look, if you've been banging your head against the keyboard trying to get a functional, professional app off the ground for your store, you are in exactly the right place today.
Here is a quick look at our agenda. We're going to cover 5 key areas today. First, the Appy Pie ceiling. Second, comparing DIY builder alternatives. Third, the fully managed approach. Fourth, the 3-step process. And finally, time to make the switch. Let's get into it.
Section 1. The Appy Pie ceiling and why users outgrow this incredibly popular builder.
So why do users outgrow it so quickly? Well, the source material points out something really interesting. While it's a super popular starting point for absolute beginners, the platform's limitations, its ceilings, appear surprisingly fast once your business actually starts getting some traction.
It really boils down to some very specific technical and operational roadblocks. For starters, you have zero code ownership. That means total vendor lock-in, where you are essentially just renting your app forever. Then you've got weak API integrations that make handling complex data an absolute nightmare. But honestly, the biggest hurdle is the sheer amount of time these DIY platforms demand. Busy entrepreneurs are spending hours dragging, dropping, and troubleshooting instead of, actually running their business.
And then the financial ceiling hits, and it hits fast. $60 a month? Yep, just to get basic iOS publishing on the Apple App Store, you are forced into their Platinum tier at $60 per month per app. The base plans? They don't even let you onto iPhones.
But wait, it gets worse, because you're also capped by download limits. The basic plan gives you a mere 500 downloads a month, and even that $60 Platinum plan caps at 2,000. If you exceed those caps, boom, overage fees. Think about that for a second. Your costs go up exactly when your business starts scaling successfully. You're effectively being penalized for your own growth.
Which brings us to Section 2, comparing DIY builder alternatives. Let's analyze the top 6 options for 2026. When we take a step back and look at the broader market, a really clear theme emerges. Now, tools like FlutterFlow offer excellent code export for developers, and Glide makes it super easy to spin up web apps from spreadsheets. But here's the catch. Every single DIY option still requires a ton of time and effort from you. Take Adalo, for example. It gives you a nice interface, but keeps you completely locked in without code export for $45 a month. Bubble? It has a massive learning curve and doesn't even do native mobile apps. The overarching takeaway here is simple. If it's DIY, you are the one doing the heavy lifting.
Moving right along to Section 3, the fully managed approach, breaking down the AppOfWeb model.
This represents a massive, and I mean massive, paradigm shift. We're moving from a software rental model where you do all the free labor to a service model where a professional team builds the asset for a one-time fee. The DIY way means you learn the tool, you fight the bugs, and you pay endless monthly subscriptions. The managed way with AppOfWeb means a real team does the actual work, you pay a transparent one-time fee, and 0 hours of your time are required to get it done.
So what does a fully managed app service actually mean? Well, this approach makes it incredibly obvious why non-technical founders love it. You just want the final product, right? You want the actual mobile app driving sales for your store without having to spend your weekends learning how to be a software developer.
That brings us to Section 4, the 3-step process. Let's look at exactly how AppOfWeb builds your app. The sheer efficiency of this managed model is honestly pretty wild. Your only responsibility is step 1, just share your store URL and some basic brand details. That's it. That's the entire extent of your involvement. The professional team takes the baton and runs it all the way to the finish line. They build a custom app from scratch, no cookie-cutter templates, and push it live to both the Apple App Store and Google Play. Oh, and the ongoing support and publishing costs? They amount to just a few bucks a month.
Finally, we've arrived at Section 5, time to make the switch, knowing exactly when it's time to upgrade your mobile presence.
You really want to pay close attention to these key migration triggers. Look, if you are paying $720 a year just to exist on iOS, or if you're constantly bumping your head against those 2,000 monthly download limits, it's time to move. Same goes if those generic templates are starting to hurt your brand's credibility. And most importantly, if app maintenance is eating up the time you desperately need to actually run your business, the data heavily suggests you have completely outgrown your current solution.
Now, you might think having to start over is a bad thing, right? Appy Pie's lack of code export feels like a total trap. But the source material actually reframes this as a massive positive. It's an opportunity for a total professional brand reset. You aren't dragging over a bunch of messy, template-constrained code. Instead, you're getting a properly built custom app from scratch that is tailored to your exact store.
So if you are officially ready to stop fighting with clunky drag-and-drop templates, paying endless monthly fees, and you just want to hand the reins over to the professionals who will build it for you, visit AppOfWeb.com and convert your website to mobile app today. It is quite literally the cleanest break from the DIY trap. Which leaves us with one final, very provocative thought to end on today. If every single hour you spend frustrated inside an app builder is an hour you aren't growing your actual business, how much is DIY really costing you?